Hello, here at Brighton Modular Meet 2018. Greg appeared as if from nowhere. White Noises, I think you're better known as. Yeah. For anyone that's not sure what you're doing, I guess we should introduce you first. How would you introduce yourself?
Well, I guess I am, I don't know, am I allowed to call myself an educator?
Yeah, an educator, an artist.
Yeah, musician. I make tutorial videos about experimental music and modular synthesizers primarily. And then aside from that, also do composition and sound installations and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think we were just talking and before we hit go then about what are you known for, kind of what's your angle? Because there's lots of people making videos, but I'd say that making musical content on a small system is probably your key strength, I think, or at least that's what's been apparent to me. I've never seen you on some sprawling huge system, but there's always great sound coming out. So I guess why haven't you just gone for even a normal size 6U case or 9U? You're kind of about 54 HP of 6U. I tend to see you with a lot.
So interestingly, like I did start out buying it was a 12U 104 HP case from Modular MDLR cases.
Oh yeah, Arjun.
Yeah,
makes those.
Really, really good case, really solid. And I still use that, but that's kind of almost like my library in a weird way. That's like where I put all of my modules, and then I prefer to kind of like design a specific setup. Yeah. So I have this little case that I made. I think it's about. I think it's 64 HP. Okay. 2 rows, and I just find like this is in fact one of the main reasons I got into modular in the first place, is for constraints.
Yes.
Because if I'm sat at a computer with hundreds of plugins, I just can't make anything. Good.
And I think if you were in front of a bookcase size of modular as well, it feels very much the same.
It would be the same thing.
Well, I could speak from experience. That feels very much the same. Yeah. I like pulling things into smaller cases, lunch boxes or just a little travel briefcase.
Yeah.
It feels more like an instrument. I think I mean, not to say a huge case can't be, and different things work for different people. Sure. But when I just focus in to just a smaller case, whether it's a drum system for a project or an ambient thing or something to play with a keyboard, feels like I've built an instrument. Yeah. My larger system, like you said, it's like the library. Right. Which colours do I want? Which flavours from the palette do I want?
Yeah. I definitely try and be a bit more kind of purposeful about what I'm going to be using and selective of the modules that I want to put in my case. But I've kind of landed on this little setup, which I've brought with me today. Yeah. And I feel like that's one kind of nice instrument, and now I want to try something a little bit different.
So will you be keeping that in that case as that instrument and getting another case, or is that?
Yeah, I think like I've made another case the same size. Okay. I can't really afford to buy like duplicates of the modules, so I'll probably just like swap them in and out. But I want to do something a bit more to do with like processing sound, as opposed to generating sound. And just it would be nice, in my opinion, to have these kind of more discrete boxes, which you can of course join together.
Yeah. Nathan Moody's blue box, red box series, and I did a rig rundown with him recently, and he still was like, "Oh, here's the blue box in the background," and I love that. It was like, this is the guitar and amp rig from this rock band's album. This is I love the idea of just that's its own entity now. Yeah. And like you said, we can't have, if you want rings in every case, we're not all going to go and get 3 of them.
Sure.
But I like this idea of it's almost final.
Yeah.
Because that ongoing thing of your rack's never finished.
Yeah.
Kind of can be for a project. Maybe you're not finished with modular, but I like this. This was this system. That was that.
Yeah, and like there's an electronic musician. I can't remember her name, which is terrible. But she used, I think, for about 20 years, used these gloves. I think she built these gloves that had some kind of sensors in and controlled sound. And she worked with that setup for 20 years and really like learned it like you would learn a piano or a guitar or like an instrument. And I think with modular, it's really easy to be like, oh, this isn't working, I'll just get a new module, I'll throw this in.
Yeah.
You're not like pushing through the difficult parts.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, like learning an instrument, no one goes and buys a piano and just say, here's my piano compositions.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. And the same for guitar. You don't learn you might be in a punk band, but you don't learn 3 chords and go, here's my album.
Right.
You kind of have to really work at it if you want to be able to express yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a key point.
Yeah.
So musically, there's a new tape out.
Yes.
Download as well.
Yeah.
Is that all on this system? What's on that release?
That release called Grounds, it's kind of comprised of basically in 2017, last year. It was my first year with the Modular synthesizer, so I kind of documented the different experiments I was using or creating with all of the sorts of modules that I was using at that point. So there is a kind of mixture of different modules, but then I ended up throughout the year kind of refining my box down into what it is now.
Yeah.
And most of the tracks are made with that. So you'll hear a lot of chord from Qubit, a lot of rings from Musical Instruments, and the STO from Make Noise. Those are kind of like the main 3 voices.
So do you think, because the case is like I said, 2 rolls of 64 HP, are you taking them out separately to record, or do you feel like it's compact enough that you're just recording stereo?
Yeah.
No, any external processing, or are you multi-tracking in any way?
For the most part, just recording in stereo.
Okay.
Occasionally, I will record one pass and then into Ableton. Yeah. And then do another pass of something else over the top. But in this case, I'm limited to about 4 or 5 voices. Yeah. And I try to just stick with that. And what I'll do is I'll create a patch, then figure out how to turn it into a kind of performance, do a few takes of that performance and pick the best one. Yeah. Sometimes there's a little bit of editing, and I'll usually put some a little bit of EQ, compression, and reverb on, but nothing massive. Really.
Yeah. So why cassette? It's definitely we spoke about this. We should plug that you're going to have some videos coming out on tape. Yes. A whole series, not just on releasing for cassette in a modern age, which I'm looking forward to. And I should say as well, plugging your stuff, that your videos break down concepts as opposed to pieces of gear. And I really like that angle. It might sound strange because I just make videos of gear, but to say how, talking about layering up sounds to make more punch or body or weight, or looking at granular synthesis, it's all applied on the modular for the most part, but it's a look at a concept. It's not just a demo of, here's this one single module. And you mentioned having tape stuff coming. So people should watch out for it. So we won't go too deep into that, but for you, why release Grounds on cassette?
Well, several reasons. One reason was that I saw a lot of cool people that I admire releasing their music on cassette. Yeah. And people like R. Benny and Emily Sprague. And that kind of made me aware that there was a cassette scene. Yeah. And especially with experimental electronic music, there's a really cool scene of people selling their tapes individually, but also labels. Yeah. And so I kind of wanted to be a part of that scene and put my chip in, as it were. But also, I think maybe it might be CDs, but maybe apart from CDs, it's the cheapest way of actually producing a physical
people tend to ask for vinyl, but without realizing how expensive and the lead times are crazy as well.
It's a difficult process because you've got to do at least 200, and that means thousands of pounds, and it takes a really long time to do. Whereas with a cassette, you can make 20 if you want and just give them to your friends, So it's a much more... Well, I felt like I could control a lot more of the process. So I could design... I guess you could do it with vinyl too. You can design the artwork and everything. But I just felt a lot more involved with it, and it felt a bit more personal. I did originally think that I was going to be dubbing all the cassettes by hand and making them one. But then I was like, hang on. If I'm going to make 50 of these, maybe that's going to take a while. But no, it's a really nice little kind of... I like to put all these cassettes on my bookshelves and just have little mementos of these albums that I enjoy. Because and the people I've talked to about releasing on cassette, a lot of us don't really listen to cassettes that much. Yeah. I'll buy it, I'll listen to it, on cassette, but most of the time I'm listening to it on a download on my phone, you know?
Yeah.
But it's nice because it forces you, like I think you were saying this, it forces you to kind of listen to a whole album.
Yes.
As opposed to just like flipping between tracks on a playlist.
Yeah, I think same for vinyl as well, to be fair. If someone goes to put an LP on, they're not doing it for that 1 3-minute single, turning off the turntable and going off. You do that on your phone or whatever. Yeah, I think that's, for me, that seems to be the biggest appeal of it. And the thing when I ask people that, not in a controlling way, but they kind of force an experience on people that when they do listen, they're gonna listen all the way through. And I think a lot of us probably grew up listening to music that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Headphones on, laid on your bed as a kid, listening through an album that you like. And it kind of you can't really digest it quickly and easily. You just use your phone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So so we should say, I'll put all the links in the description to stuff. Video. Your Patreons are getting some nice extra content. The cassette for people to go buy is available for download as well. And when can people expect the videos on tape? Personally, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the videos on tape, I'll just quick overview. There's going to be one about the invention of tape itself and how that affected how music is being made. Then one on tape loops specifically, and then one about cassette culture. And I tried to involve more of the kind of community, so talking to people like Benny and Amulets and Scott Campbell and Heimbach, just to try and get their opinions on these things. And those will be coming out, hopefully, let's see, in the next few months. Probably, what are we now in? June.
Just gone into July.
And July, right? Yeah, probably about a month from now. They'll be
late
ready.
Late summer.
Yeah, late summer.
Okay.
Excited about those. Really,
cool. Well, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.